In my 20s, I briefly worked as the human resources director of a mid-sized law firm. In this capacity, I had to do many things that I did not enjoy, among them instructing professionals twice my age with many times my experience whether their footwear was acceptable in a professional environment or not. That went over well. But I will never forget one interaction that I had. It was with a member of the secretarial staff who had recently found herself unexpectedly pregnant and had come to me to try to figure out what in the world to do. The woman was not married and she wasn't in a domestic partnership. She didn't not want the baby, but it certainly hadn't been planned. So we sat down and we went over the family leave policy, which I can't remember at this time, but it was something like 4 weeks of paid leave, which isn't exactly, the moment when women are raring to go back to the office and leave their infant with someone else. But for this woman, not working was also not an option. So together we Googled childcare facilities and we determined that in order to put her child in full-time childcare, she would be paying almost exactly the amount of money that she was taking home after taxes. She would, in other words, be working for the sole privilege of having someone else watch the baby that she wanted to be watching. Food and shelter, apparently, were just privileges, extras, if you will. This is an obviously impossible situation. Impossible. It was impossible for me, and I had the privilege during both of my children's births to be working from home, which meant that the only person who suffered was me. And I did suffer from lack of sleep, from, lack of community, from the overwhelming guilt that I experienced every time I had to hand my child over and pay someone else to watch them with money that I didn't really have. The childcare industry in this country is broken. And now, with inflation skyrocketing, it's about to get worse. Childcare facilities all over the country are raising their rates to account for increases in operating costs, food, power, rent, salaries, to the tune of about 30 to 35%. The industry is also suffering from a labor pool that decreased by over 11%, even as 9% of facilities nationwide closed and the median wage of childcare workers hovered around $13 an hour. It is beyond time that we, meaning voters and our representatives, stop treating childcare like a luxury good, like a Equinox gym membership, nice if you can afford it, and like the public good that it is, equally important as institutions like public schools and fire departments, and equally deserving of government funding.